Yeah, looking ahead to the Tottenham game, the North London derby then. I mean, first of all, what's the main emotion as a fan and as a player having played in these, going into these games? Can you tell it's an extra
Um,
special?
yeah, it's more for the fans, really. I mean, if I go back to my era, the biggest game for me was Manchester United. That was always the big game where, that if you can get 4 points out of Man United, then you've got a chance of maybe challenging for the title. But again, it's all bragging rights. There's a lot of, especially around London area, Arsenal, Tottenham, and the rivalry between both sides. But to be honest with you, you just treat it like another game. You don't want to, say, oh, it's a big game and this, that, whatever. And we try to do it against Man United because sometimes you can overthink games. You can, pressure builds on you if you're thinking about it too much, and you just got to go out and perform like you do every single week. They know the importance of the game anyway, but don't try and think about it too much. Just go out and perform, and do exactly prepare exactly the same you do for any other game. And that's what I did when I played. The emotion's very high, obviously in the stadium, always is. Everybody wants to get one over your North London rivals, and one thing for it is the form goes out the window, and the form from both sides. Probably Arsenal much better in the Premier League, obviously, but they're very inconsistent, Spurs. But they can on a day turn up and put a good performance in. So that's why it's going to be an intriguing game. Obviously, Arsenal coming off that defeat against United, they'll be a little bit down, but they've got to bounce back. But I'm pleased it's at the Emirates, and that gives them a lot better chance because their record at the Emirates this season has been brilliant. Not obviously unbeaten at the Emirates, so it gives them a lot better chance of winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's second versus 12th, and there's 16 points between them. In any other, if it wasn't Tottenham, if it wasn't a derby, Arsenal would be going into this as firm favourites. But,
Oh,
but after the
absolutely.
win,
Well, there will be big favourites, but again, I played in games when we was, challenging at the top, and Spurs were mid-table. But you're in for a game. And we had lots of 1-1 draws. To be fair, we had lots of draws against Spurs, especially away from home. But they know they're in a game. Spurs know with the pressure that the manager's under and the fan base is getting a little bit, tetchy on certain bits and pieces. If they can get a performance against Arsenal, against their local rivals, and get a result and win, they take a draw probably Spurs coming into this game. But if they can somehow get a win, that suddenly massive belief and confidence goes through that club. So they know how big it is. It's a bigger game for Arsenal than it is Spurs because Arsenal's still chasing that title, and after coming off two defeats, you need to win that game as quick as you can to get you back on track. So it's a bigger game for Arsenal, but Spurs know they could be real, legends if they can beat Arsenal and the bragging rights on a Thursday morning going to work.
is it the perfect game for Arsenal, or is it the worst possible game for Arsenal to have after this week?
Uh, well, probably the best game would have been Southampton at home, but it's just the way the fixtures have fell. Look, it's a game that can really look. The fans will be disappointed. They tried everything the other night, and it was a game where Man United give them credit because they stayed in the game. I really thought when it went down to 10 men, they might nick one in that extra time. But when it went down to penalties, I would favour Man United because I think they've got a big lift about staying in the game and that sort of thing. But a game like Tottenham is always a big game for any part of the season. But after losing two, you could get the fans right back on your side. I mean, they'd be disappointed, but suddenly people forget about Man United and Newcastle. You can beat Tottenham and suddenly get back into the title race, and you'd be hoping Forest can get a result. But as I said before, Arsenal players won't be worried about Forest or Liverpool or Man City playing. All you've got to worry about is yourselves. And I remember about 98, was 12 points behind Manchester United. We went an unbelievable run where we won about 10 in a row. And we weren't worrying about other teams, it's just about ourselves. And that's what probably put more pressure on Man United at the time. So that's all Arsenal got to do, worry about themselves, try and get 3 points against Tottenham, do the same against on Saturday against Villa. And obviously Liverpool got two away games, so they're not and probably not easy games either.